Freddy versus Jason, Batman versus Superman, Godzilla versus Kong, and now... The Mitchells vs. the Machines is brought to us by Michael Randa and stars Danny McBride, Abby Jacobson, and Maya Rudolph. When Katie Mitchell, played by Abby Jacobson, is about to head off to college, much to Katie's chagrin, her parents decide to head off on a road trip for one last hurrah as a whole family to take her to college. However, halfway there, through a course of events, the robot invasion happens and they start to take all of humanity prisoner. So now it's up to the Mitchells, the last free humans on Earth, to take this fight all the way to the main headquarters of the robots to free all the humans and defeat their robot overlords. The Mitchells vs. the Machines is an animated family movie that's recently been released on Netflix. And yes, I know that pretty much every other YouTube movie reviewer out there has already reviewed this movie, but I am one of the only YouTube movie reviewers out there who still doesn't get screeners from Netflix, so I had to wait for it to come out, so here I am. Either way, I really like this movie. This is one of those great family films that isn't just for younger audiences. No, the entire family can enjoy this. They do a really good job of inserting lots of real life family situations into this movie. There's some real heart here. This isn't just some kind of like cheap shots that they take. No, there's some stuff here that any parent has experienced. A large part of the movie is about the oldest daughter Katie and Rick, the dad, and how when she was younger they were inseparable. He was her hero, but as she got older, she got further and further away from her parents. And now as she's entering into adulthood, it seems like these two can't agree on anything. There's still love there. You could tell that they do care for each other, but they don't always necessarily like each other. This is a very real thing that happens in life sometimes with your kids. We'd all as parents love to sit here and say that, oh, my kids will always be my best friend and I'll always be theirs. But in a lot of cases, that's just not how it's gonna go down. There is going to be that period of time that your kid kinda hates you. Well, not hates you, but doesn't really like you. It's kinda like there's a breakdown. Your child grows older and matures, but you as a parent, you're already older, you're already mature, so you don't change, but they do. So sometimes it takes an old dog a little bit longer to learn those new tricks and get up to speed. That is a big theme in this movie. These two trying to repair their relationship before she goes off to college and it might not be repairable anymore. And the movie handled it wonderfully. Man, there are some parts in this movie that are just pure and genuine. They will really get the waterworks going for some, especially parents of older children. I think that they will really get this. But it's not just Katie and her father. Katie's mom and her brother are also included in this as well. They're all faced with this, as they see it, loss that's about to happen. They're about to lose this person, in their eyes at least, that's been with them her entire life. Katie's mother is about to lose her daughter. Katie's brother is about to lose his best friend. And ultimately they have to come to terms with that they're not really losing her, she's just moving on to another stage of her life. But hey, letting go of someone that you've seen every single day of their entire life is kinda tough. I know, I've been there. The fear that they're gonna forget you, that they're gonna move on, that they're not gonna call. These are all real fears and they're portrayed here beautifully. Now I know I'm saying all that and I'm kind of making this movie sound like it's a bit of a downer, but it's not. It's very high energy and upbeat for the most part. And that goes to what I was saying a minute ago. This movie is funny as hell and has all kinds of great energy to it, but it also touches on these very real things. The movie knows when it needs to be exciting, when it needs to be fun, but it also knows when it needs to come in and stick one of those personal moments. The story backdrop of the robots taking over and all that is kind of superfluous. It's there and it's happening. That's more of the fun and what drives us forward. But the movie's really about this family and them all accepting the big change that's on the horizon. There's some really great messages in this movie, but none of it is ever just shoved down your throat. This is how you do a message in film. The fact that more mature movies can't get it right, and this family film hits the nail on the head, really says something to how fantastic the storytelling here is. Overall, the story and execution here is great. There's never a dull moment, you're never bored, it has fantastic pace, the comedy is right on, and it hits you in the heart right when it needs to. And it delivers a satisfying yet believable ending that will leave you feeling overall pretty great. Now the performances, much like the story, are just right. Danny McBride as Dad Rick Mitchell was perfect casting. He's never taking it too far, like at times Danny McBride McBride has done. No, he's just right. He knows when he needs to seem goofy, he knows when he needs to sound heroic, and he knows when he needs to be heartfelt. This is a great performance from McBride that honestly I wasn't expecting. Maya Rudolph as Mom Linda Mitchell is just right too. Now while the movie doesn't quite focus on her as much as it does McBride's character, she definitely has her place in this film. She sells the loving, nurturing mother character who, while she doesn't always make the right choice, she is always trying to make the right choice for her family perfectly. Abby Jacobson and Michael Randa round out the rest of the Mitchell family, and they are fantastic as well. This family as a whole, just together, all these performances work wonderfully together. And that goes for all the other performances in the film. Everybody here does a primo job in the voice acting department. But admittedly, the spotlight is on the Mitchells themselves, as the title implies. And none of these actors disappoint at all. In fact, they bring their A game and they bring it hard. While these are just voice performances, they bring a genuine believability to each character and add to the overall heart of the film. Now, from a technical perspective, the movie is in good hands. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise because this does come from a major Hollywood studio, and it's an animated film in 2021, so it better look good. However, the movie does a great job of distinguishing itself from everything else with its very distinct artistic style. It kind of has this look like it's claymation, but it's actually CGI. It's a really interesting look, which shouldn't be too surprising because Phil Lord is involved and he was involved in the Lego movie. And this movie uses a similar technique to where it's almost like there's dropped frames like a claymation, but it's all CGI. It's a very interesting, unique look, and I really liked it. Does everything necessarily look realistic? No, not at all, but it all looks great. It's not meant to look realistic. As I said, it's a very distinct style, and it's a very interesting style. It does share some similarities with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in its artistic style, but at the same time, it does have its own style. It's not like a carbon copy of that movie, but there are similarities. Overall, everything here technically looked great, and I really like the very distinct style that this movie has. Guys, at the end of the day, The Mitchells vs. the Machines was really cool. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm big enough to admit that closer to the end, there were some parts that as a father really got to me, and I kind of had to sit there and hold my breath a few times to make sure that the waterworks didn't come on. I was, by the way, watching this movie with one of my younger daughters, so I had to maintain that stoic presence. And kind of look away a couple of times and just... allergies, you know, it's just allergies. Daddy's okay. But forget about all that. I really enjoyed this movie, and it had some great performances, a really cool looking aesthetic, and most importantly, a great heartfelt story that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to, which is why The Mitchells vs. the Machines is absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it!
I went into this flick not expecting much, and I got a great movie. I had a great time with it. So if you're looking for a little animated movie for the family one night, check out The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and I think you'll have a great time with it. So there it is, guys, my review of The Mitchells vs. the Machines. If you enjoyed, want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Silicon Valley.
Who are these unstoppable warriors?
We're the Mitchells, the only people who can save the world. I'm super sorry, everyone.
Really, I did not expect this movie to have such an emotional impact on me that it did. Don't shortchange this movie, especially if you're a parent, and especially if you're a parent who has had a child go away to college, or just like leave the roost in general, or if you've ever experienced like a rift with one of your kids and you just didn't know what to do to make it better. This movie knows all about that. So don't just discount this as some dumb little family movie. It knows where to get you. I don't know what the hell, man. Maybe I've just been like emotionally vulnerable lately or something. That and in like 2 months, 2 more of my kids will be going off to college, and it's just kind of leaving me in an emotional state. I'm gonna be okay. My older kids probably watch these videos and are like, what the fuck?